Tommy, another big test on Friday night. You have Cork City. They've had a start that maybe some people might have thought you might have had if you're looking at and that they've had a tough start. They've had 3 defeats out of their first 4 games. A bit of pressure building on Colin Healy already. That's probably a good thing for you. Like Galway, you were going there with very little pressure on, and the same thing probably on this Friday night.
Yeah, there's no pressure on us whatsoever. This was look, like every game, it'll be a tough game, and not easy in the league. You can see that from all the results. Lots of people expected, possibly Wexford to beat Cove last week. The way they were going, but you saw it there. Good result for Cove. It's particularly after Shells only beating Wexford 1-0, and apparently they were well in that game as well. And from the highlights I saw, it seemed that way. So, Cork seem to be a bit unlucky at the moment. I think they were 1-0 up and the man sent off, and as you said earlier, with Morrissey hitting the crossbar, they could have been 2 up, and if you go 2 up you're probably out of sight, and that probably killed us in the last couple of games as well, that we didn't get the second one against Cove, and probably the second one against Galway, albeit Ty pulled off a good save from Galway to equalise. But yeah, going back to Cork are going to be extremely difficult task for us, like any team, I suppose. Facing a full-time team for 2 weeks and the second week in succession is going to be really difficult for us, for sure.
Yeah, the frustration has probably eased a bit from last Friday night for you. The late concession against Galway, and in the cold light of the day, you look at it and say it was a good result. You're playing a full-time side. In terms of the game Friday night, you have another full-time side you're coming up against, and they've got some very good players despite their start. As you mentioned already, Garrod Morrissey, who obviously is been around the league for a long time, Corey Galvin, Cian Coleman as well, very well. They're going to be coming down here, and as you said, it's going to be a ground in the Marksfield where teams will come and they'll be happy to come to Marksfield and play with the facilities there.
Yeah, just come back to what you said there about the frustration. I wasn't overly frustrated. I was probably disappointed more than anything for the players, to concede in the manner we conceded in the 93rd minute, when we seemed to be, bar one save the tie had to make. We weathered what they threw at us fairly comfortably, I thought. So I was more disappointed for the players. We've been in that position where it's the 93rd minute and you concede a goal. It can be very deflating. So. But look, we kick on, we move on, and going on to Cork. Yeah, Dylan McGlade is probably one of the best wide players in the business. You mentioned Coleman there. He's an energetic lad. He's athletic. You can play him anywhere. He's a really good player. Morrissey's could be one of the better midfielders in both divisions, to be fair. And he's proven that throughout the years. And Stephen Beattie, he got injured last week. Is top class as well. And there's some really good young players, like they always do. And they're finding their feet probably at the moment, and hopefully they don't click against us.
Yeah, everyone's happy at the moment. Tommy, unbeaten start. You have 3 draws in them, but they were against reputable sides as well. Would you say that you're slightly, as you said, you weren't as frustrated as more as disappointed? Are you disappointed maybe that you don't have 4 more points on the board than you have at the moment?
Yeah, we probably should. We probably should have. Edward, as we just come back over us, we probably should score that chance. Obviously, good clearance off the line. And Alan Murphy that was a good save. It was a good play. If he scores that, we win. We're 2 up and we're out of sight. But and they looked the lack of, I suppose, just not dealing with that last 30 seconds. We didn't get high enough on the line, our line high enough defensively, and lads dropped too deep. And that was just a bit of a lack of concentration. You're trying to shout out onto the pitch, but it's too late. So. But look, we can't fault this group of players. They've been excellent in the application, and we're starting to. I think you're seeing signs now. We're working on our attacking play a bit more now as well, and lads are getting more confident with each other, and that's coming to. It's not coming to fruition, but we're getting there slowly but surely. But we try our best to be competitive in every game.
Yeah, Kieran Hannon played in 80 minutes for you on Friday evening. Obviously his fitness is building all the time. What did you make of his performance? He seemed to be, particularly in the first half, he did a lot of the dirty work for you in terms of holding up the play and occupying the Galway defenders, Bruder and Nugent, and obviously we're hoping that continues on Friday.
Yeah, that's what he does at the moment. He's a handful. He'll give anyone a tough game because he's such a physical presence, and he's technically very good for a big man. the fitness, yeah, he still needs to get fitter. He still needs to be, and we're pushing Red all the time because we know how good he can be. But if he is exceptionally fit, he's really, really good. At the moment he's not getting many goal scoring chances because he's finding it difficult to get into the box because of his fitness. That's what I believe anyway. But we'll keep pushing him and keep working on him. But we're happy with him. We're happy with how he's applied himself and how he's living his life at the moment, and he's been fantastic for us. And look, besides that, he's a great character, and he's a great character about the place, and he's brilliant with the young players as well, because he's one of our older lads now as well. So he's a fantastic attitude, and he's really good with all the young players, and all the older players as well. To be fair, he's good to be around.
I was speaking to Mark Ludden last week, Tommy. He's had a superb start to the season. He's in great form. I actually was sitting behind the Galway bench on Friday night, and Stephen Walsh turned around to one of his players and said, "Geez, Ludden is playing well, isn't he?" But it was just the manner. He had started really well in every game, and we spoke about it on our podcast before the season that not only do you need vocal lads, but you need guys to lead by example, and he's certainly doing that for you at the moment.
Yeah, he's been excellent, but look, the whole lot of the group has been really good. I know we spoke about Red earlier, but Mark Ludden, we can speak about him now as well. But we have to mention that everyone that has played and everyone that has got minutes has done their jobs, and that's what exactly Mark does. And he does a bit more too. In fairness to him, he provides that attacking threat, and he shows those leadership qualities, and he's not afraid to let the lads know as well. He's that leader out on the pitch, and along with Jack, and he does that. But we're creating other leaders out there as well. Sean Gearns and Anto, and Mark Walsh does his bit nice and steady too. And look, to be fair, Sean McSweeney and Red, we have a few down the spine that have good leadership qualities. So we're delighted with them, and we're particularly really happy with Mark Ludden, because he could come down here at 31 years of age, and he still has that hunger and desire. So it can be hard at times, especially with work, and it's a young man's league. I think he's one of the oldest Southfield players in the first division, so that just shows how young the league is.
Yeah, you were missing Anthony O'Donnell last week, Tommy, and obviously Joel Coustrain was forced off at half time with an injury. Is there any update on the availability of those two players for the Friday night?
No, we won't know until probably later in the week. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday, I'd say, before we make a decision on those. Clyde got a bit of an injury there in the collision for their goal. He's a hip injury, and Joe Collins got a bit of a knee injury for the few minutes he was on. So we're getting all those little injuries, but look, that's why we signed a big squad, I suppose.